I don't think so. I've got some things I've been wanting to do for a while, and we've been building cars, we've been really busy. There's definitely a different direction I want to go, and here I just can't do both. And
he was the quiet mastermind behind some of Fast and Loud's most stunning constructions. A bearded figure whose serene intensity counterbalanced Gas Monkey Garage's mayhem. However, somewhere something unexpected occurred in the midst of the roaring motors and reality TV fame, something nobody anticipated it. Supporters believed they knew him. The show seemed familiar to them. However, what prompted Aaron Kaufman to take a course of action that would alter everything? It wasn't a dramatic departure. Not initially, anyhow. The events that took place behind the scenes show a side of Aaron himself and the garage are rarely seen. And it all began with a single instance that would subtly rock the show's basis. Let's go back in time and discover. The inquisitive Aaron Kaufman had a distinct interest in the workings of the world. Rather than using standard toys, Aaron frequently took disassembling them in order to comprehend their workings. This practical interest swiftly developed, causing him to work on lawnmowers, bicycles, and eventually automobiles before he was old enough. In order to drive. He was raised in a working-class Texas home, which gave him a strong work ethic and a straightforward approach to craftsmanship, qualities that would eventually establish his career in the automotive industry. Kaufman, a self-taught technician, was never given formal education in engineering or automotive. Rather, he developed his abilities via experience and a strong dedication to experiential learning. He was already well known in the community by his late teens for his mechanical aptitude as well as the ability to solve problems. Richard Rawlings was drawn to these abilities. He later engaged Kaufman to work on a project involving cars. I was amazed by Aaron's ability to undress, and he joined Rawlings to assist in the meticulous and imaginative reconstruction of an automobile. What would eventually be known as Gas Monkey Garage. Kaufman's method of teaching mechanics has never ceased trying to solve things. Instead, he always pushed the boundaries. In contrast to the many mechanics who complete routine repairs or just work quickly, Aaron wanted to create complex, high-performing equipment that required technological creativity. Early as time went on, he grew to love vehicles, which quickly became into a fervent passion to rule the fields of design, tuning, and specialized production. This fervor distinguished him from a talented field, progressively opening the door for his leading role on the popular program Fast and Loud on the Discovery Channel. Being a city dweller and Texan gave him such an earthbound persona, despite his rising fame. In addition to technical mastery, because he was a straightforward individual who genuinely loved what he did, fans appreciated him. These elements were beneficial. His strong bond with the audience helped propel Fast and Loud to unprecedented success. Long before the Kaufman was a well-known presence in the garage when the cameras started filming, so they only served to assist. The world catches up to Texas's knowledge. Aaron was unaware of the accidental encounter, though. Would introduce him to a world much larger than he had ever dreamed of in a Dallas garage. Gas Monkey Garage was the starting point for Aaron Kaufman's ascent to prominence. When he met Richard Rawlings, a businessman and auto enthusiast. At the time, Kaufman had exceptional talent and attention to detail in his automotive work while he was employed at a nearby shop in Dallas, Texas. Aaron's talent was discovered by Rawlings during a routine repair and was struck by his accuracy and speed right away. At this meeting, the start of a business alliance that would eventually develop from a professional relationship. Rawlings saw Kaufman's promise and asked him to join a new project that would likely to be known as the Gas Monkey Garage. The Gas Monkey Garage was founded using the idea of building restored vintage vehicles and unique hot rods that blended artistry with amusement value. Kaufman became the shop's lead technician very fast, and his extensive mechanical he was the foundation of the operation because of his expertise and meticulous nature. Although Kaufman supplied the technical know-how, while Rawlings contributed the commercial and branding flair. They established credibility and substance. They were complementary in their personalities, Rawlings being the vivacious entertainer and Kaufman the subdued, dedicated craftsman, which produced a relationship that developed naturally on screen and became a big attraction. This fruitful collaboration prompted the Discovery Channel to debut the reality television program Fast and Loud in 2012. The program documented the day-to-day tasks associated with buying, repairing. The Gas Monkey Garage sells vintage automobiles. As the bearded wonder, Kaufman rose swiftly to gain popularity among fans. The audience appreciated his uncomplicated method of producing cars and taking on challenging tasks with innovative solutions. His distinctive beard, composed demeanor, and fierce he was the real deal and gave the performance some heart because he was so focused on being eccentric. Fast and Loud is among the most popular automotive reality shows under Kaufman and Rawlings. Shows that have ever been broadcast on television. Together, they successfully established Gas Monkey Garage as a global brand. Millions of people worldwide are aware of it. Aaron gave the performance credibility and technical skill. And his sincere passion for mechanics elicited a powerful response from the crowd. In addition to fame, Kaufman stayed grounded with his passion for vehicles even as the show expanded. Built with genuine craftsmanship in each bolt and weld, not just for show. His ascension via Gas Monkey Garage was a demonstration of talent, drive, and dedication rather than a display of celebrity. And what the proper collaboration can accomplish. The significance of chemistry. The indisputable chemistry between Fast and Loud and their audience was a major contributor to their enormous success. Between Richard Rawlings and Aaron Kaufman. Their collaboration was founded from the start on esteem for one another and complementary abilities. Although Rawlings served as the company's spokesperson, charismatic, Kaufman was the mechanical genius who was noisy and concentrated on making money by flipping automobiles. In the background, making sure the cars were flawlessly constructed. Their divergent characters collaborated to create a balance that made the show enjoyable while preserving trust with auto enthusiasts. The genuineness of their work attracted admirers. Connection. Even though I worked in a high-pressure setting with strict deadlines and the Kaufman and Rawlings rarely had spectacular confrontations or public arguments since the stakes were enormous. It is rare in reality television. In fact, both frequently praised one another in interviews, which only served to confirm the public's impression that they collaborated effectively behind the scenes. Viewers felt as though they were witnessing a genuine friendship develop because of this sense of togetherness. The store, as opposed to a prearranged show. In Fast, the on-screen chemistry was crucial. And Loud. It was about the people who built the vehicles, not the cars themselves. In Kaufman's composed, Rawlings' fierce energy would be subdued by placid demeanors, and this temperamental contrast made the audience continues to return. This combination of rivalry and friendship, mutual successes, its sporadic annoyances humanized each build's process, making even the infrequent observer to start showing concern for these projects' future. The audience was personally proud of the two, to the extent that Kaufman's sudden departure felt like the death of a family member. The fan community was taken aback when Kaufman announced his departure. To them, it was just inconceivable that someone so deeply entwined with the company and the Fast and Loud's entertainment elements would disappear when the show was just beginning to height of popularity. He appeared to blend in well with Rawlings and the other members of the team. Prompted more serious concerns about what might have been happening behind the scenes. The pair's charisma made most people think that everything was going great. Kaufman's departure, therefore, was not only unexpected but also a terrible shock to those longtime admirers who believed the two were inseparable. Unbelievable departures prior to Kaufman. Fans of Fast and Loud were shocked by Aaron Kaufman's departure, but two other important members of the Gas Monkey Garage's sudden exits had previously garnered media attention: Tom Smith and butler, Jordan. Well known for their wit, talent, and camaraderie with the other members of the squad, Tom and Jordan was popular with viewers and played a big part in the show's initial success. Fans were therefore perplexed and worried when word leaked out that they were no longer in the cast. In contrast to Kaufman, who subsequently gave an explanation for his departure, Tom and Jordan left without first explanation, which simply served to increase conjecture in internet discussion boards and car groups. Many fans first didn't think they were really gone. It seemed too abrupt, too uncharacteristic for the program to abandon such clever and entertaining mechanics. Rumors started to circulate regarding potential difficulties behind the scenes, with some claiming that they had others suspected Richard of having personal issues, while others quit to launch their own program. Rawlings. More questions than answers resulted from the networks and the show's silence. And the true story, an event involving Rawlings, did not surface until much later. They had been fired because of their cherished Rolls-Royce. When Tom Smith sat down, the whole truth became clear. For a TMZ interview and provided information on the occasion. He revealed that a guest was experiencing from fibrosis had entered the garage, and he requested a picture at the conclusion of the tour. In addition to Rawlings' beloved Rolls-Royce. Tom agreed because he wanted to please this admirer, believing it was merely a harmless action. Rawlings became furious after seeing the picture. Entire concept of his opulent car, which he viewed as a violation of privacy. His response was so ludicrous, he began shouting and swearing, that it infuriated Tom. Then Tom ran away from him. His defense funds, and things got worse when Jordan ended up supporting Tom. In the end, Rawlings threw them both out. This event demonstrated how flammable the gas potentially develop into the Monkey Garage workplace, particularly in regards to Rawlings' authority. The fact that anything as basic as letting a fan get in the way made firing even more painful. The removal of two extremely talented team members was justified by the photo that was taken of him. The reverberations of their termination not only gave rise to the Misfit Garage spin-off, which was founded by other former Gas Monkey members, but also established the framework for examining the nature of stability behind the drapes. At the time of Tom and Jordan's departure, many spectators saw the obvious evidence of a flaming start to dissatisfaction at Gas Monkey, a warning that Aaron Kaufman's subsequent departure would appear to be a continuance rather than an isolated incident. Why Tom and Jordan were fired? Tom Smith and Jordan were fired. Fast and Loud's Jordan Butler was involved in one of the first behind-the-scenes scandals out of Gas Monkey Garage, and an apparently innocent picture was at the center of it all. As stated according to Tom Smith's subsequent TMZ interview, the incident started when a guest in the garage, who had fibrosis, a severe lung disease, requested if he might snap a picture next to the beloved Rolls-Royce owned by Richard Rawlings. In an effort to give the visitor an unforgettable experience, Tom thought it wouldn't be a huge deal and consented without hesitation. Ultimately, the garage often Tom believed that welcoming fans and making them feel at home were part of the culture. Richard Rawlings, however, had a quite different perspective on the matter. Upon learning that someone had when his Rolls-Royce was photographed next to it, he reacted with unanticipated rage. The vehicle, one of his most valuable, carried particular meaning for Rawlings, and it seems that he accepted it. Ought to have received more special attention and consideration. His rage was sudden and fierce. He started shouting and cursing at Tom in public. Instead of remaining quiet, Tom retaliated, defending his choice and his desire to provide a fan some love. Jordan Butler, who hadn't been personally involved, intervened to help Tom, which just made things worse. The dispute quickly heated up despite being a simple disagreement at work. Rawlings abruptly and dramatically threw Tom and Jordan out. It is quite uncommon for such an abrupt dismissal to occur, especially in light of the specific occurrence in question. At the time, there was silence regarding the reasons behind their departure. Consequently, this led to speculation about their plans for something new or their voluntary departure. Following Tom's confirmation of the dismissal, the whole fan base exploded in anger and despair. Considering the incident's circumstances, many people believed the sentence was inappropriate for the offense. Jordan and Tom were laid low for a short time despite the setback. Co-creating the Discovery spin-off series Misfit Garage, which is focused on a group of mechanics who were considered misfits in the profession, were given a chance to regain their footing. Despite being seen by some as a backup plan because of the contentious leaving, it provided them with an opportunity to showcase their abilities and prove their genuine value. Not just Gas Monkey Garage, though. It was then reported, ironically, that Rawlings himself might have even made an investment in their new business, perhaps as a cunning business strategy to profit from their ongoing appeal. A dispute over a photograph escalated into a moment that changed the course of my career. Provides yet another captivating tale to complement Fast and Loud's already intricate relationships. Another important player started to face a completely different kind of war as the dust cleared around their firing. Aaron Kaufman's increasing anger despite Fast and Loud's enormous success. Aaron Kaufman was subtly becoming disenchanted with the course that the show was following. Behind the scenes, the series' frantic structure, intended to provide viewers with continuous entertainment, started to conflict with Aaron's principles as a mechanic and constructor. The emphasis of the show shifted toward fast car constructions that gave priority to quickness and aesthetic appeal over technical intricacy and skill. For someone such as Kaufman, who held the mechanical art form in the highest regard, this felt restrictive and unsatisfying. Above time, it became evident that there was limited space in the production schedule for the types of complex, creative endeavors that he was enthusiastic about. Kaufman's annoyances weren't only imaginative, they were really personal as well. He was always pressured to finish constructions under his supervision as the main mechanic. Strict deadlines that frequently lowered the caliber of the job he wished to do. His reputation was based on accuracy and creativity, and the fact that were quick, and he was unable to completely explore his abilities because of flashy initiatives. Although these constructions were satisfactory for TV ratings, but not for someone who appreciated fine craftsmanship. He desired to build unique, high-performance cars that needed a makeover rather than just restorations. Better degree of design and problem-solving. Over time, Kaufman began to feel more and more alone. Out of step with the objectives and structure of the presentation. He had expressed these worries to his colleagues in the hopes that his creative goals could be better served by the projects he is working on in the garage. The more he understood, while Gas Monkey Garage and the Discovery Channel remained steadfast in the earlier model, giving more weight to entertainment value than to substance. The conflict between Aaron's his yearning was intensifying, and he felt as though he was in the middle of a demand from the show. Giving up his identity as a builder, which had a significant impact on him on a personal and professional level. In the end, Kaufman realized that remaining would only mean continuing to gradually sacrifice his passion and purpose. He never desired to find himself in a situation where after so much effort, he was labeled a fame seeker because someone was following his heart. Into a well-respected, honest builder. Making the choice to leave Fast and Loud was hard to think about, but inevitable as the distance grew between what he desired and the facts of his occupation, which he did for a living in order to be on the show. So started his burning discontent brought to a radical change in his life, one where he could follow the types of challenging and meticulous jobs that first sparked his passion for automobiles. The decision to depart Aaron Kaufman's decision to depart Fast and Loud was the consequence of a protracted and gradual accumulation of numerous personal conflicts and professional annoyances that forced his continuous participation in the show more challenging. Although Kaufman had previously flourished in the high-energy setting of Gas Monkey Garage, the networks and the show's format's creative restrictions started to get to him. Although the audience's desire for entertainment may have been met by the quick turnaround initiatives, they left Kaufman felt his creativity was being hindered. He desired to work on more ambitious, bigger buildings that displayed creativity and workmanship, which were not possible due to the show's strict timeline. He found himself at odds with the show's course on a professional level. Kaufman had concepts for more lucrative and technically challenging enterprises, but they were frequently ignored in favor of short-term gains that improved television. He started to feel cut off from the task that had previously made him happy. His increasing discontent led him to wonder if he may still develop, change, or push himself as a builder at Fast and Loud. His growing public reputation added to the feeling of creative standstill by bringing more less fulfillment but more strain and attention. The pressure was increased by some personal problems between Rawlings and Kaufman. In the past, their working relationship was the ideal starting point for their early years, but gradually deteriorated. Kaufman specifically cited, according to interviews conducted following his departure, there were significant differences that went well beyond artistic distinctions. Although he never gave all the information, he essentially said that the tensions behind the scenes got out of control. Respect for one another, which formerly characterized their relationship, progressively faded away. As a result, Kaufman could no longer stay in a setting that no longer mirrored his own principles or goals. Ultimately, the choice to depart was primarily personal, based on Aaron's quest for development and genuineness. He was adamant on not fleeing from anything, unwilling to leave his troops behind in the process, so he planned his departure carefully. He remained long enough to finish all of his tasks, making sure that his departure wouldn't disrupt the garage's momentum. Kaufman's departure caused great sadness among his followers, who understood that it was the only way he could continue to values and honesty. Additionally, his departure marked the end of an era for Fast and Loud as well as for of the most respected and trustworthy people in the reality TV custom automobile scene. Life after Fast and Loud. Following Fast and Loud's departure, Aaron Kaufman set out on a path that would embody his genuine vision for the workmanship of automobiles. In contrast to the TV limelight, where innovation was fueled by deadlines, Kaufman was able to calm down and realign his work with his own principles after the event. In order to avoid wasting any more time, he started laying the groundwork for his next project while still